Welcome back to Geek Show Arcade.
Beep, boop.
Oh, yeah.
This is what we do.
That's right.
Hey, everyone.
Arcade- it's
I'm so
arcade
excited
time,
to be here.
baby. Look at that, Jaren.
Are you, Jaren?
doing
Yeah,
his
I get to talk about a
excited
game
talk.
today that I played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jaren's got a game review.
I'm going to talk about video cards. Does that count about it for something?
You are not.
I am too. I'm so excited.
Red letter
I-
day over here.
I have an amazing
I only have one story, but it's a dang good story.
Nice. All right, this is Geek Show Arcade, where we talk about video games and video game related things. Let's introduce our panelists. Starting to my podcast right, it's Owen.
Hey, everybody. I'm Owen. Follow me on Twitter if you want, at TechnoOwen. Mostly here, though. This is where you get the good stuff.
It's fair.
You got to be
Yep.
right today, Owen, because you're podcast right.
That's right.
Oh.
I hope you bring as
Podcast.
good a stories as you brought last week to the,
Yeah,
the
I got
arcade.
Yep, I got it top notch. As good as or better than
Problem is you set
Game Pass.
a high watermark last week, and now you're going to struggle to live up with it, up to it. It's going to
I'm
be
still giggling. I'm
be
still
rough.
giggling about
I think
that.
it's be fun.
all right. Podcast bottom. It's Jaren.
That's where I like to be. I'm Jaren. You can find me on Geek
Jaren's
Show
the
Help
bottom.
Desk, as well as Geek Show Arcade. And I'm a happy boy today.
You
just-
sound
you
so
could
happy.
Tell it. You could tell it in the way he's speaking. He's
Dead
speaking.
inside.
All right. There we go. Down in the corner. It's Lando.
Hey, it's Lando. I go by Lando, not Lambo. Landon works. Lots of things work, but not
By
Lambo.
saying that, you're just inviting.
I know.
All right.
But I want to be
well,
clear.
Fair enough. Thanks, Lambert.
Lambert.
It doesn't work.
The
We have a
sheepish
host. His
line.
name's Turner.
Hey, it's me, Quad T Turner. Check me out on Twitter at Quad T or on Geek Show Podcasts. All right.
You see what I did there, Tony? Did you see what I did?
I missed
It's not
it.
fun, is it?
What did you do?
I liked it, actually.
Oh, okay.
I want more
See,
of
nobody
it.
even noticed it. Anyway, moving on.
All right. Okay, I meant to talk about this last week, but before we get to that, do we have any emails?
Yeah. And I will read it without asking if I should read it.
I think you should read it.
All
You
right.
should read it.
Here we go. Hello, my dear friends. Cody here again. I'm playing through The Witcher 3 on my Series X for the first time, and OMG,
Yeah,
it
buddy.
is amazing.
Great game.
I can't believe it took me this long to finally play it. The question is for Tony. If you had to relive playing The Witcher 3 or Borderlands 3 fresh again, which would you
Witcher.
choose? Thanks for reading this, and I love you all. Geek Show says, hey.
Thanks, Cody.
So sweet.
Yeah, Witcher for sure. Borderlands 3 was a lot of fun, but
How many times did you beat Borderlands 3?
well, here's the thing. Borderlands 3 has a really, I would say, borderline addictive game loop where you shoot things, collect the loot, shoot things, collect the loot.
Super satisfying loop.
Yeah, super satisfying game loop. But Witcher 3's game loop is more questy and story and, explory. And I got more of an enjoyment, I think, overall out of that. And that's not something that you can just reproduce over and over again like the fun gameplay loop of Borderlands 3. So Borderlands 3 I thought was almost as fun the second, third, fourth playthrough as the first one. Whereas I have not ever gone back to replay through Witcher 3. Oh, that's not true. I did a New Game Plus run. I think I got about halfway through. But I think my point still stands.
So if you got to do it fresh,
Oh man,
Witcher
I'd
3.
love it. I wish I've thought about that for a long time. Back when I think it was back in the in my high school days, I thought to myself, man, I wish I could delete Ocarina of Time from my brain and play Ocarina of Time fresh again.
and just be that thrilled.
Yeah, back when N64 was still, the latest and greatest thing.
Remember when Witcher 3 came out? There was two big fantasy games at the time, Witcher 3 and Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh, that's a good game too.
And I went with Dragon Age Inquisition, and I could only handle one giant fantasy game at the time, and I kind of regret my choice.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I loved it at the time, but I just haven't been able to get into Witcher 3 for whatever reason since.
Well, guess what? Luckily for you, unlike Dragon Age Inquisitions, The Witcher 3 continued to get updates and things later on, and it's got new graphics options and everything, so
Yeah,
now's
that's
a
true.
great time to dive in. Any more emails?
Nope.
All right. Now we'll get to the story that I meant to get to last week. we have received word of what Gary Bowser's punishment is from Nintendo. And well, I think we talked about this many moons ago. He was sued by Nintendo because he participated in a project that helped to mod Nintendo game consoles. And this is it's just a coincidence, a happy coincidence. His last name actually is Bowser.
And the president of America Nintendo, his last name is also Bowser.
His name is Doug Bowser. This is Gary Bowser.
So many Bowsers
odds?
with Nintendo.
Yeah, so it's very weird. But yeah, he was the subject of a Department of Justice sting operation, spent over a year in jail because he basically helped add some dongles to Nintendo Switches so that you could play backed up video games or, ROMs or whatever you want to call it. And the way they got him was ridiculous. They basically, the Department of Justice got a search warrant, went into his house early one morning to grab him, and basically woke him up in bed with rifles pointed at his face.
Yeah.
For dongling.
Wow.
For a guy that worked on a project, some projects that helped unlock the Switch. So basically, Nintendo just decided to put everything they had into the suing of this guy to make an example out of him. And after spending a year in jail, he has been let out, but he still owes $14.5 million
I freaking hate Nintendo
to
leadership.
Nintendo.
They must have leaned on every contact they had in the justice system to get that done or something.
Found a judge that they knew would be sympathetic to, making an example, setting a precedent kind of a thing.
It looks like his main thing that got him in trouble, besides pissing off Nintendo, was being part of Team Executor.
Right, that's what I mean. He worked
Because
for them.
that group has been branded by Department of Justice as a notorious international criminal group. So that let them respond in this kind of over the top
guns
method.
blazing sort of
Yeah.
way.
For dongles, just so we're
Yep.
clear.
Yep. He was only one piece of the project that worked to unlock the Switch with these dongles. But anyway, yeah, it's pretty wild. And there's I could see both sides of this argument, because it's like, well, yeah, you were doing an illegal thing, knowingly doing what is against the law. And then it's like, but does the punishment fit the crime in this case? And I don't think that it does, but that's not for me to say, I guess. Because $14.5 million to your average person, and
That's a lifetime.
he squarely sits within average person,
Right.
means. That's the rest, and he's already 63, I think.
Oh yeah, they're never getting that money.
Yeah, the rest of his life, he's
Oh,
gonna be
50. Sorry, he's
scrapping by.
54. He just looks old in this picture.
These days, he pays his medical bills through a GoFundMe page.
Yeah,
Like him and everyone else.
Yeah.
he's going to be paying this off for the rest of his life, and there's no way that it will actually be paid off by the time.
Maybe you
he
should do a
dies,
GoFundMe
I'm
page
sure.
for all
So,
Nintendo fanboys to help him out.
Yeah. They say Nintendo logged a revenue of $8.7 billion last year. Bowser's monthly payments won't even scratch the surface of the company's bottom line. This is totally
It's to make a point.
That's silly.
If you get caught doing this, modding hardware, voiding your warranty, then whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it really comes down to if he was charging for it, and it sounds like he was. And so that's where you get in trouble.
Yeah.
Because
So
taking something and breaking it and going against the whatever, that's like,
Wow.
it's illegal.
it's
But if
not
you
so much
sell
that
it,
I don't even think that it was selling, because he wasn't a part of the selling team. He was part of writing code for to go between the developers and the mod chips.
right.
So he wasn't even
Like
in
this
the
is like
sale
suing the
lines or
guys.
anything.
This is like suing the guys that found out you could use Xbox controllers to power subs. Like
So I'm sure there's
You know?
other people involved with this.
Yeah.
Did they just choose Bowser because of his last name?
I think they just
Made him the villain.
I think
Yeah.
that they were just able to locate him fastest, as I bet
Yeah.
what it was. Department of Justice was like, "Oh, we can get this guy."
He probably gloated about it online somewhere too, or something.
Yeah,
don't know.
probably because a lot of people that work on that kind of stuff do like to
Yeah.
crow about it. So anyway, there you go. Don't piss off Nintendo.
Yeah, could go to jail and owe 14.5 million.
Oof.
Pretty crazy stuff. Oh, let's see. We have a very exciting update coming down the pipe for Baldur's Gate 3.
It's a big download.
It is a big update.
And here's the headline. Here's the top. It's got better kissing.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lot of gigabytes of kissing right there.
That's what I'm here for. No, so they're doing tons of little bug fixes, but they're going to be doing some changes to the changes to the in-camp like body motion, just some
What kind of body motion?
animations.
No, the
like,
animations in camp.
yeah, like the animations, like
Why
standing.
did you say body motion?
That's
because
just
when
where
they're
his
in
brain
camp-
was.
Because when they're in camp, they're standing around and they do like little body motions, like dancing and
Like
anyways, I don't
NPCs
have to-
do, Jaren.
I don't have to explain myself.
Keep going
Anyway.
on. Don't let him stop you.
Yeah.
We support you.
But yeah, you're gonna get some more, I guess, romance scenes and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna
That
get some
shadow
more
heart
better
action.
kissing. So
You
let
know,
me
I've heard a
see
number
here.
of reviews about how bad the kissing is in this game, so I'm glad it's getting better.
Yeah, that's an important piece.
Well, there you go. It doesn't say. I mean, just tactical. It's doing a bunch of minor gameplay fixes. So
I saw an article about it earlier today that Larian says you need to have 150 gigabytes
150 gigs free.
free to
Holy
do the patch.
moly.
It doesn't
Yeah.
Wow.
use all that space when it's done.
Yeah.
It just needs that amount of space
Yeah.
to move files around.
And they said-
everything.
They
Call
said
of
a
Duty
sol-
level here.
And they said solution to that: if you don't have that, you can uninstall the game
and just
and
reinstall the
and
new
then
version.
reinstall the new version. So, but yeah, it's gonna be. I mean, they don't go into detail on what all they are. They have a list somewhere, but it's not in this article. But
You should have
the
found
main
that.
one. I only really care
Well, no,
about the
they
kissing. So
well, they even said right here. They said it's a hefty one, so we'll share full patch notes on the official website. So that's where you have to go when the patch goes live to see what the full patch notes are.
I don't play. Have you played Honor Mode? Have you looked into that?
I'm not playing honor mode. I don't want to
That-
play a game where if I die, it's game over for the whole game. And I have to
Yeah.
start it
Come on,
completely.
Tony. Where's your sense of
Yeah.
adventure?
Not there.
Not there. Yep. I looked at that and was like, I would have not lasted the first 10 minutes of the game when
Yeah.
they're just supposed to be showing you how to play the game. I died in that first 5 minutes of the
You
game.
got to get good.
I'm
Owen.
not, though. I don't do that. I just relentlessly die until I get through the game. I learn from
Yep.
mistakes and I lose every time and then do it better the second time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Fair enough.
The game itself, even before the update's a pretty hefty game. I want to say it's over 100 gig. So yeah, it's
I
large
fell into
to begin with.
I fell into the Act 3 smothered me type of, like, it was
Too many side
there's-
quests. Too
It's
many
so
options.
big.
Yeah,
Act
it's
3
huge.
is so massive. Like
Yep.
in Baldur's Gate, the city of, I've lost track and I'm just like, now I feel pressured. I'm like, but it's all the way back there. I started this other quest. I'm halfway through here. I don't know if I'm doing it right. And I just
Use
kind
your
of put
journal,
it down.
man.
I do, but like, I just put it down for like 2 weeks. I was like, I can't. 2
Oh,
or 3
you're
weeks.
so close. Finish it
I
up.
know.
Come on. Love that game so much. Having a
to go
blast
play
playing
some-
it with Squink.
Play some Halo. I had to go get some Super Fiesta.
Good
Wherein
stuff
I got
right
another
there.
message, by the way. I got another message.
You suck and you should never play this game again.
You're
It
bad
wasn't.
and you
It
feel
wasn't.
bad.
It wasn't so. It wasn't so concise. It wasn't so concise this time, but it was more like you suck. So, like, it was just short and sweet, but it basically essentially meant the same thing.
Did you
All
respond?
right.
I did not respond.
Oh.
I tried to find them and hack into their web server and kill them.
Too bad all the flipper zeros have been outlawed.
Yeah.
All right, Jaren, let's have some news on this game that probably should have never come out, but for some reason, Ubisoft has decided to push ahead with it. Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones, which Ubisoft is calling a quadruple A game for some
that's
reason.
just because they want to charge
So they can charge more.
$70.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's been
It's
in
more G's, guys.
development
Well,
for
10 G's better.
like a decade.
It's been in development ever since Assassin's Creed Black Flag came out.
So was
So-
it built on an old engine then and everything? Like,
Oh, they've scrapped the game like 2 or 3 times
Yeah.
in 10 years. So
It's been in development hell for sure. It's finally coming out this year. There's been an open beta, and I haven't been able to play it because, Dad, I have no time. However, IGN, they've given their impressions, and surprisingly, it seems somewhat decent. They say the story sucks, but everything else is not that bad.
So all the stuff that they were just able to lift out of Assassin's Creed Black Flag is good, and the stuff they had to do original, like story, not so good.
Yeah, it's not like Sea of Thieves where you control an actual human, and as a human you control different parts of the ship. You are the ship.
Oh, okay. It's a little different.
Yeah.
So get this, guys. I got a great idea for a game. Instead of actually controlling the ship and being the pirate, you are the pirate ship.
You're the ship.
Mind blown.
You're the ship.
Give me money.
we're having real hard times.
What a great pitch,
separating the characters out from the ship. Just put them
Just-
into one.
Just make it all one.
It's like peanut butter and jelly. Okay.
It looks pretty fun though, and that like there's different. You can play as a team, and you can be like a support ship to heal the other ships.
Wow, but with ships.
and you shoot them with healing cannonballs.
This is not what I expected this game to be at all, it sounds like.
I need to shoot him with a cannonball to heal him.
Stay there. I want to shoot you with a cannonball. It'll heal you.
Jared-
It'll feel real
Jared,
good.
You guys, you played Sea of Thieves with your friends though. and
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got enjoyment out of that. Do you think the same thing with this? Does it look like something you'll pick up and play with your friends?
Not for $70. We did Sea of Thieves
Oh,
because
yeah.
it was on Game Pass.
Right.
But if this were like a cheaper game, yeah, I'd totally give it a
Well,
try.
or on Game Pass.
The other
Or on Game
reason,
Pass.
though, they're crowing about it being quadruple A is because not only is it $70, but it also includes microtransactions right from the
Yeesh.
start.
Okay, yeah, they should not be charging $70
They're
for
really
that.
trying to milk the consumer.
Trying to make their money back after 10 years of
Yeah,
nothing.
exactly.
That's yeah.
But still, impressions are better than I thought they would be for being in development for so long.
Yeah, usually if a game's in development for too long, it just has been so troubled that whatever they finally push out the door is pretty questionable.
Duke Nukem Forever.
Oh, I was so excited for that game for the first 5 years it was in development.
Yeah.
In the last 5 years, I was not excited for it as much.
And then the 5 years after that,
Yeah, I finally got it, and it was okay. It was all right. All right, well, there you go. Let's see. Lando finally brings a story to arcade.
Yeah, I guess
And
so
not
guess
only is it a story, it's a story about video cards.
Nvidia. They make video cards.
Now we're
I
talking.
hear Jaren and Tony talk about them all the time. They use numbers and specs and how, Jaren gets 1 or 2 less frames than Tony, and it's a big deal for some reason. I don't understand
Yeah,
any
he
of it.
can't
but
handle it.
I know one thing.
you
I know
can't
one
handle
thing.
it.
I know one thing.
What's that?
Nvidia is a video game company, and therefore it belongs in the video game show. That's
No,
what I
they're
know.
not- they're not a video game company. They make more money from not video game stuff.
Video
That's true.
cards. We
Like-
always talk about them in the video game show.
Like this article probably should have gone into help desk.
1,000%. That's where it should have been. That's the point I'm making. So Nvidia,
So
the
you're
video game
saying-
company that makes
So
video
you're saying
cards.
You know the delineation, but you chose specifically to ignore it after we've explained it many times.
Despite
Yep.
you.
And
Yep.
okay, well, that's
They
fine.
are releasing what they're calling Chat with RTX. This is their AI chatbot. However, it is interesting in a lot of ways. The first and foremost is it is a local chatbot. It runs locally on your computer. It does not run in the cloud, which is pretty cool.
Yes.
Something that definitely differentiates it from
It's doing what
other AI bots.
Yeah, it's doing what Samsung claimed that Bixby or Samsung AI is doing on their phone, but we all know it's not.
So you do have to have an RTX GPU. But a couple of the cool things about this new AI chatbot is it's able to search through and summarize YouTube videos. So the YouTube library that's typically like you can't Google it because things are hidden off in videos.
I hate
this
that.
RTX chatbot can do that for you, which is pretty cool.
How does it do that? Does it play the video fast and scan it while it plays it fast?
Gotta
I
do
have
voice
no
recognition,
idea
right?
how it works. I just think
That's
it's cool that it does
crazy.
work. It searches, but it can also search through your documents and PDFs provided by the user. It's still pretty early. It's still pretty rough. It's still in the NVIDIA demo stage, which we've talked about a number of these before. The one I remember is the one that James brought about the NVIDIA demo that would take 2D images and make 3D models out of them. Remember that?
Yep.
This is squarely in line with that kind of level of technology where we're at right now. But I think this one will go the distance. I think this one will
Well-
definitely become a competitor to ChatGPT
Yeah,
down
well,
the road
and
for
that's the
sure.
thing. The one that James talked about, they've continued to iterate on it, and it's still being worked on. They still show it off every once in a while.
Right.
With Nvidia, they do have a tendency to definitely stick with the stuff they decide to show the public. There's a good chance that it will go somewhere, unlike a lot of stuff that's shown off by like Google or other companies that
Yeah. So
throw
like I said,
things
this
out there.
is still rough, but the demo they showed shows a lot of promise for uses like research, fact checking, and analyzing personal files. It provides responses very quickly without the internet access. But it is buggy, limited
I would
context,
be-
and heavy installation requirements.
I would be wary of this. It installs a web server on your PC, and I don't know.
Well, I'm not going to install it yet just because I don't like to play with stuff that doesn't work very much.
Have you?
But
if
down
you're
the road-
if you're the kind of likes to tinker around with new things, new tech,
Yeah.
this could be fun. And you meet the requirements, right? It's pretty beefy. It needs some serious specs.
30 minutes to install on a Core i9
With RTX 4090.
4900K. That's
It's nearly 40
It took
gigabytes.
30 minutes to
Wow.
install on his PC with that. That's a biggie.
That
Yeah,
is
it's not a small little thing, but it's local, right? I mean, it's an AI chatbot that's local. What
Why
do you?
does it
I mean,
need a web server?
what do you
then?
Where
expect?
did you say it? Where did you see that it installs
That's-
a web server?
It's hold
Where
on. I
did
think,
you see it in the article?
hold on. I think it's the fourth paragraph. Hold on. I was reading about it just now. You access it through. Here it is. Once it's running, you access RTX from a browser while a command run prompts it. But it says Python instance.
As a web developer, putting a
I don't know. There it
web
is.
server on my computer locally.
It's
Does not bother me in the least.
Like it's this one. It says the big drawback to chat is that it really feels like an early developed demo.
100%.
Chat with RTX essentially installs a web server and a Python instance on your PC, which then leverages Mistral or Llama 2 models to query the data.
Llama
Oh.
2, that's the
feed
thing that James brought.
So it's not that it creates a web server that goes out to the web
No.
to do
No.
stuff.
It
It
just-
just
it
creates a
just turns
local
on-
web server
yeah.
that it interfaces with.
it.
To
That's how you
access
get
the
to
data.
through a browser.
No,
You
there's
you
nothing
access
wrong
their
with-
browser.
No.
It just it
Nothing
installs and turns
questionable
on.
about
It installs and turns on IIS on your Windows machine, which is a feature that's usually not turned on in Windows. So
I don't think that's what it's doing. I think it's using Python to do a web server.
maybe good call.
I don't think it's using ISS. In fact, I would be very surprised if it was. Anyway, I have no problems with this. No
Pretty
qualms.
neat. Pretty.
I think
neat
it's just
stuff, though.
unintended consequence. I feel like if the moment you put on a web server, even if it's local, maybe that doesn't have access to the internet, but your computer does, and so that concerns me.
Local web servers are not a big deal. Ask any web developer ever. Like local web servers are normal.
I don't
Other
have any skin in
cool-
that game.
Other cool NVIDIA tech is
I have one
HDR,
running right
automatic HDR tone mapping on any video you play. You just enable that in the NVIDIA control panel, and any video on YouTube will suddenly become HDR if you have an HDR capable display. And it works great. I've tried it.
I was gonna say, is it good HDR?
It looks good to me. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's all that
I've,
matters.
I've left it enabled, and I've been pretty happy with it.
Oh, that's neat.
But I want to go on record that I brought the Nvidia story to the video game show. Heck yeah, let's go.
Yeah, go on record as being
Wrong
incorrect.
show,
Okay,
but
sounds
still
good.
pretty good.
There you go.
It was a stretch, but it was a good story though.
It was a good story. It's very interesting, and this is, and I'm not trying to dump on AMD, but this is the kind of stuff that really sets Nvidia
100%.
apart from AMD is the amount of software engineering that Nvidia does for their products versus AMD.
Yeah. NVIDIA just plays catch up.
AMD, you mean?
AMD, you mean?
What did I say?
Nvidia
Nvidia.
plays catch up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was a
Jensen-
terrible
oh.
slip.
Dare you?
Jensen Huang.
We should
I'm
kick you
very
off the show
sorry.
right now for that slip. That was bad.
You need to do.
Even I wouldn't make a slip like that.
You need to do 40 Hail Jensens tonight before bed, and
And
you
I
will be
shall.
absolved.
Buy a 4090. Buy a 4090 and
An
throw it
additional
away.
one, yes, just to throw away. So,
How about just 4080 laptop?
You got to hold your
yes.
couch up with it.
You can't use it though. You just have to buy it to own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the part.
Has to stay new in box until it's obsolete.
Yep. Owen knows. He's had to pay the. He's had to do his.
I have that right there.
his,
So
his
many,
repentance. You know.
so many of those devices. That I'm like, I'm going to hold on to this. Someday use it or sell it. It is now worthless.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Also, Jaron, I can see is highlighting the Avatar review because he really wants to do it.
You can see my highlights?
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
highlights.
Yeah, man.
Don't
I
you
know
Google?
Messing
That's how I
around.
know how you go in there and mess around with my notes.
So, Jaron, go ahead and review Avatar.
I've been playing Avatar Frontiers of Pandora lately. It came out in December of last year.
Timely.
Well, there's not been many games this year, so I still feel like we're okay. 2024 has not been 2023 as far as games go so far. Anyway, it's very much an Avatar property through and through. 100%. Like, the feeling you get of thinking about Avatar movies, it's exactly how the game is.
The feeling I get watching Avatar movies is not great.
All the good and all the
I think he
bad
means
that comes
the
with it.
spectacle of it. More
Yeah.
Than anything.
Yep. And the story and the forgettable characters.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So, like, when you're watching Avatar, it's like, oh, I'm having a good time. And then you're out of the theater and you don't think about it ever again.
That's
Yeah.
exactly how it feel. Man, that's
Yeah.
perfect.
This
wish-
is exactly how the game is.
I wish Tenet was that good.
Like, while I'm playing the game, like, this is a pretty cool game. I'm liking it quite a bit. And then I stop playing it and I totally forget that I have been playing that game. And it's the Avatar effect. I don't know what to call it, but the characters, they're pretty boring, and there's a lot of them, and they all have very funny names. So it's extremely hard to keep track of who's who.
This sounds like a Lord of the Rings book.
But it's even worse though because they're Na'vi, and you don't. It's hard to distinguish between them.
They're
I know
all blue.
That
I take
sounds
it back.
racist. I know,
I
but
take it back. That doesn't sound like a Lord of the Rings book. It sounds like a Brandon Sanderson book.
oh hey,
Yay.
Yeah.
hey.
Sounds like the Brandon Sanderson.
And like, there's a lot of different camps with a lot of different characters. And there was at one point where I was supposed to meet this character in one of the camps, and I'm looking around this camp for 20 minutes long, and it's a tiny camp. It's like a treehouse, pretty much. I'm like, why can't I get this? Where can I find this freaking character? And is the quest, and so I had to do it. And then I finally realized I am at the wrong camp. It just happened to look exactly like the other camp I had to be at.
You know what helped,
Racist.
Jaron? If you turned on the on-screen UI.
After that, I did.
See? You gotta do it.
The dialogue scenes are kind of boring, kind of like an Avatar movie. Like the story, it's kind of mid.
You're just describing Stormlight Archives. That's all you're.
Ouch.
We have made use
You're
of mid far too
trying
much.
to
You're going to get me going.
rile me up. Owen and I will band against you.
I don't like how I'm feeling right now, Tony.
I
Yeah.
only
Feeling
have
like I have
about
to join
one
up
more.
with Jaron, and that doesn't make me
You don't
feel
like
good.
that?
I would love that, Owen.
See,
Yes.
I'm glad you finally at least rose to my bait a little bit because I think I could only stomach one more joke about Stormlight Archives because I've actually read all of them and I do enjoy them, but I do like
They're
to
fantastic.
troll.
Anyway, and the characters keep talking about Awa, like Awa this, Awa that. If I have to hear one more thing about Awa, I'm gonna just like
Stop playing.
Why
Go
do
crazy.
why do they care about the popular audio company from the late 90s, early 2000s?
no, that's Iowa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's their god, Tony.
Yes. So that's the bad stuff. I'm gonna go on to the good stuff now. Like, technically, the game is freaking amazing. It looks
Snowdrop engine, baby.
so good. On every platform, it's an amazing experience. Like, there is so much foliage, and jumping around on Pandora, even though it's forgettable afterwards while you're doing it, It's like, dang, this is pretty awesome, especially when it turns to night and like all the plants are glowing fluorescent stuff. It's awesome. It's actually a pretty fun game too. Like the combat is pretty solid. You can have guns, bows and arrows. You can craft different things. There's also the upgrade path is pretty cool. Standard stuff, pretty much, like crafting different clothes that gives you different armor buffs and health and all that junk.
So it's
Was it
Far
like
Cry.
Minecraft for blue people?
Sounds like it's Far Cry.
Far Cry for blue people, yeah.
Fair.
With a mix of what's that other Cry game?
Assassin's Creed.
No,
Cryogenics?
Crisis.
Crisis. There we go. Yeah, with a mix of Crisis in there.
Crisis.
But like the combat stuff is a lot of fun. Like you take over these bases similar to Far Cry. A lot of different options. I did stealth one time and super fun, just running around the tops of the bases and stealth killing everyone. And anyway, very very solid, very well put together. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah, and there's an option to turn off like quest markers. And I actually had quite a bit of fun with that for a while until I finally couldn't find the person and had to turn that back on. But like
HUD, you know?
you have to take down this base, and so from where you start at, you hear like this machinery in the distance, a loud thumping, and using sound cues and going through the jungle, you finally find this base. That was a lot of fun instead of just finding a quest marker and heading towards that. If I had like 100 hours to play this game, I would leave it like that, but I don't. So I ended up turning it back on and not nearly as fun, walking around. I got through like 25% of the story. So this is a dad review. Got to the point where I got my mount, my Ikran. That was pretty awesome. Going up the dinosaur pterodactyl thingies that you ride.
I'm not sure why I chose to tune in at that moment, but I did. And I was confused. Yeah.
So you're saying you've been tuned out, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Did I admit to that aloud? I did not mean that. I take it back.
Sure did.
But jumping up on
those
those
game that I'll ever play.
Jumping up on those floating mountains that are hooked together with giant branches.
Stealth killing them.
That was pretty fun platforming up there and getting the Ikran and stuff like that.
Platforming, I'm in.
So, like I said, it's a solid game. It's just when you're not playing it, you're just not interested in it at
Needs
all.
more time. Needs more time
forgettable.
than you could give it. You think play that way to play without the HUD?
No, playing without the HUD, you definitely need more time, but it's a lot of fun. If you're into Avatar, this is totally a must buy. Like if you love the Avatar movies, I don't know anyone.
Done.
Yeah, it's extremely well done. Very very solid. Like overall, I think I would give it an 8 out of 10. Like the story stuff is a drag on it, and I feel like there's too much.
You're giving it the way you're talking about this, it feels like a 7 out of 10, not an 8. 8 feels too high for me.
Well, the gameplay is that fun in my opinion. Like controlling the character is a lot of fun. You can
Pretty high score for somebody that says it's forgettable when you stop playing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You can run super fast, and you can slide around. The humans are like half your size.
It's just like real life.
Yeah. So, like, if you were really into Avatar, they'd probably give this a 10.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably what Jaren's missing here for those last 2 points. Is just not really into it.
Yeah, and I suspect many people aren't. Like, I don't know how those movies make so much money when they come out.
The spectacle, man. It's
Yeah.
all about the spectacle.
If spectacle can get you through it, total recommend.
The hype,
If you want a fun Far Cry-like game, I'd say this one's pretty high up there. Give it a go.
I'll probably get it when it's cheap. I really like the Far Cry style game loop. Find a base, take it out, you do some stealth, upgrade things, push the story along a little bit. I like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, there you go. 8 out of 10. Dad review of Avatar.
You can also you also make food if you want to, which I think there's
a whole cooking sub game.
There is like there's different recipes and like picking fruit from the jungle, killing beasts, and if you pick the fruit while it's raining, it like makes the fruit better depending on the fruit. That part, some people make it into that, but that's just kind of. Luckily, you can ignore most of that if you want to.
All right. Let's see. In other news, Disney has made a large investment into Epic Games to the tune of $1.5 billion with a B.
Why?
They want Epic to create a persistent universe tied to Fortnite. It's a multi-year collaboration similar to what Epic just did with Lego. You remember how Lego Fortnite just
Right.
Is
got
it
announced?
going to be in Fortnite, or is it going to be a different
So
game outside of Fortnite?
there's a trailer for it that shows kind of what they're going for. It's on the article here from The Verge, and basically they're trying to. Epic is probably the closest anyone has to a metaverse right now, with everything that ties into Fortnite, and so this is going to be kind of more of that style of a thing.
Includes Avatar.
Yeah. So, because that's
Star
all owned by,
Wars.
it's all owned by Disney. You know, all the Disney properties: Star Wars, Avatar, Marvel, Lucas stuff, Indiana Jones, etc., etc. But yeah, so. Oh wow, I didn't know this. Epic got a huge investment in 2022, which was split between Sony and Kirkby, the investment company that's behind Lego. That's what did the Lego stuff. That was a $2 billion investment in 2022. Oof. Wow. But anyway, yeah, so you're going to see a lot more Disney stuff in Fortnite and a lot more side projects and stuff from Epic that have to do with Disney IPs and things like that. And you know, could be interesting. Epic knows their stuff in that realm. They're an industry leader in that aspect. Let's see. Okay, not good for the industry is all the fallout from the Activision merger. And yeah, go ahead with this article, Jaron, and I have some to add after that.
A lot of Microsoft. So Microsoft got a lot of pushback. We were reporting on this for a while from the FTC, from the European Union, and it was Microsoft's job to claim that this merger would be good for the industry. And so usually what's good for the industry is not laying off people and putting more stuff out there. But when there is mergers, of course, there's a lot of redundancies, and with redundancies come layoffs. And of course there was that. I think we reported on this a couple weeks ago. But at this point, they're just laying off full studios within Activision now. Toys for Bob, which made the terrific Spyro and Crash Bandicoot remakes. They were relegated to a Call of Duty support studio under Activision. So a lot of people hoped that, hey, if Microsoft buys this, Toys for Bob can be resurrected from the Call of Duty mines and they could create good stuff again. Well, no, Microsoft laid off the entire studio.
And sent them to the Call of Duty mines.
No, laid
No,
off.
laid
Oh,
off.
they laid them off. Oh, okay.
Yes, they were in the Call of Duty mines before. So at least they had work before. Now,
Right.
now they're gone. So this is kind of concerning. Microsoft, for its part, is claiming that these layoffs were planned prior to the merger.
Right.
Yeah, and
But-
including the 1900 jobs that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. They're
But
saying this was all stuff that was planned already.
how much do you want to bet they were planning it during the merger talks?
Yeah, you know, that wouldn't surprise me, unfortunately.
Opponents of the merger have jumped all over this as bad faith Microsoft. Told
Yeah.
you so. Told
Yeah.
you so.
FTC.
And I agree with them. This is a douche mood here.
They got a good point on this one. You know, I was all for the merger, and I still think it was good. However, I don't think it's being handled like it should be.
Yeah.
So post merger stuff, they're not doing a good job in that aspect. So this is crazy at the end here. Did you see how many the estimation of how many game industry workers were laid off in 2023?
10,500.
And we've already seen another 6,000 in the first 2 months of 2024.
Oof.
It is wild. Not a great time to be a game dev, apparently.
Yeah. But last year was, last year was all games all the time. It was a great game year.
No.
No. Game
Last
dev,
year they lost 10,500.
10,500 layoffs.
But like the game studio. Oh, so maybe the year before that when these games were in production.
They were
'Cause last year
ramping
was a
up.
great game year.
Yeah, that was all the finishing things up that they've been working on. Yeah.
So they released all their games and said, we don't
Lay it
need you
all.
anymore. Get
Yeah,
out of here.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oof.
So not great. Well, we're gonna get some more answers this next week. Actually, later this week. Actually, probably the day before
Thursday.
this podcast went out.
Yeah.
So sorry, listener. We don't have the actual news. We just have news that the news is coming from
We'll talk about the news
Xbox.
next week.
Yeah, we'll have the
pay
news next
attention.
week.
Pay attention to Thursday.
Phil Spencer is going to address all of the multi-platform rumors for the Xbox on the 15th. So on Thursday. So we're
The
going to
internet's
see
on
if
fire with this.
oh
with this right
people
now.
are going crazy.
It is on fire.
You know, they're ready to throw their Xboxes down the stairs because I could just play all my Xbox games on a PlayStation now. And it's like nobody even actually knows what's going to happen. I would think the most logical explanation or announcement is going to be that yes, Microsoft is going to start publishing some games on multi-platform.
Yeah, just like Sony does, right?
Just like Sony does. Sony publishes MLB The Show on
Yeah.
Xbox. They have several games that
Steam?
they've brought to PC. Yep. There's a lag, 2-year lag usually between PlayStation release and PC. And I think that that's going to be something we're going to start to see a lot with Microsoft too. I think there are core IPs that you're never going to see on PlayStation. And I think that's going to be like Halo. I don't think you're ever going to see maybe
Forza, Gears of War.
Yep, Gears of War. But the stuff, especially the stuff that they've just acquired recently with Bethesda and ZeniMax and
That's all gonna
obviously
pull,
Activision and Blizzard, they would be foolish to cut those revenue streams off from being on different platforms.
Starfield.
Well, Starfield, I think, is going to be one of the games that's going to be announced that is going to be going to PlayStation sometime next year.
So what about the games announced in the developer direct just a couple weeks ago? Do you think Indiana Jones will head over, even though they claimed Xbox exclusivity just a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I think
You think they're that disorganized that they announced Xbox exclusivity and then changed their tune just a couple weeks later?
all they have to say is it's limited exclusivity.
Yeah.
Just like PlayStation frequently has limited or had limited exclusivity to like Tokyo Ghostwire and Deathloop. Those were on PlayStation for a year before they went to Microsoft.
I feel like that limited exclusivity is kind of the middle. Like, that's a great idea. Just because if you're a hardcore fan and you've been waiting for that game, you're going to go get a PS5 and play that for the 3 months or 6 months that it's exclusive, But there's been people that are saying, is this the last? Does that mean that Microsoft's out of the console game?
Heck no.
Are they just? And I'm like,
Not even close.
no way. Their
And it's-
Xbox pulls people already over to Game Pass. Like something like 32% of all Xbox owners are Game Pass
subscribers.
And it's
Yeah.
been reported that there were internal meetings last week where the leaders say we're still in the hardware business.
Yeah. Anyone that's afraid of Microsoft getting out of the Xbox hardware business, don't be. That's not going to happen for, if ever, for a long time. So, just like Owen said, there's still a fat revenue stream there for your hardcores that are hardcore Xbox, and also for people that want to get in on the Game Pass stuff, because I cannot see Sony allowing Game Pass on the PlayStation anytime in the remote future. So anyway, there you go. We'll find out more next week. But let's see. Is there anything?
Well, I mean, could they disallow it though? Like, what if you downloaded Doom Eternal and you logged in with your Microsoft account and suddenly it was free?
I don't know how their back ends are tied together.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
If it goes through PlayStation servers first, then no, they could block that for sure. But if it doesn't go through PlayStation's Sony server farm located across the world, maybe.
They'd have
Right.
to do some store shenanigans too, like have it a free download and then pay within the game, which would be weird.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. All right, and then last but not least, Owen has another amazing story.
Here
apparently.
we go.
Bring
How
it.
about a floating controller?
I like that.
Yep, floating.
Yeah.
It's so there's an art piece and a functional piece of Xbox equipment, and this is the Dune Part 2 Xbox Series S skin that is going out. The box itself looks amazing. I'm just gonna say, but you can get a controller that is floating over a sand dune using magnets or something. All I know is I want it.
Magnets? How do they work?
I don't know, by poles or something. Anyway, it floats
Poles?
and it says Dune. So if you're not trying to get this, what are you even doing? Like, what,
Whoa, does it come with that big ornithopter?
yeah, as a little
model?
as a little prop there.
That's to
And-
hold the Xbox? That's
Yeah,
cool.
and in this same vein, if you have Flight Simulator, you can go get an ornithopter and fly around in one right now.
Yeah, they just added that expansion today. It's free.
Yeah. So this is, unfortunately, this falls into the same vein as all of Xbox's other poopy things, where it's a
Is it a
giveaway.
contest?
It's a contest.
Can't just
So
buy it?
You can't just buy it, and that makes me upset. But you can, if you gotta watch Twitter, because it's gonna come through Twitter. Fans must follow Xbox on Twitter and retweet the official Xbox sweepstakes post between February 13th, which is the day of this recording, and March 25th, 2004.
I got an idea, Microsoft. If you're pouring all these resources into creating things that you don't actually sell, maybe start selling them.
I would pay money
I don't
for
think that. Yeah, this
It
is
could,
like
it could keep a
this,
studio alive or two.
Yeah, maybe instead of laying off people, you'd sell this.
I don't know. I think they got burned a little bit by the Xbox fridge. I don't think
Did they sell
sold
that?
as many of those as
I thought those were a
the mini
giveaway
fridge.
too.
The mini fridge. No,
Oh,
you could
yeah.
buy the mini fridge.
That's right.
I only know one person that bought one. Hey, Twyman. And I don't know
They're
anyone
so
else that
tiny.
bought
That's
one.
why.
But I was stoked on it. I was going to buy one, but then I read about all the warnings on those things. They basically say, do not leave plugged in for continuous use.
Wait, what?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Fridge for the
Well,
fridge.
That's
They're
the
one
problem.
I know. They're one of those fridges that uses that I can't remember. It's not the same technology that you find in like a mini fridge or a regular size fridge. It uses a different kind of cooling technology that I can't remember the name
It
of.
doesn't work if you
It's
keep
not
it
as
plugged in.
it's not as effective,
Yeah.
and it's noisy, and anyway,
It's like
it
a
was,
showpiece.
it was a novelty item.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, so this is Microsoft's MO. They've done this a bunch of times. Did you guys hear some other ones that they list? So a red and blue fluffy Sonic the Hedgehog gamepad.
Yeah, those were giveaways. I remember those.
One a gamepad made out of actual jade. Never saw that one.
Jeez.
And even an edible gamepad. And then they had these Gold Shadow, some of the other controllers, Stellar Shift, Storm Cloud Vapor, and even an Earth Day 1 made partly from recycled CDs with water jugs and other Xbox controller parts. So if you wanted to have a
So
eco-friendly
those ones you could
controller,
actually buy, though, right?
I think so.
Gold Shadow, Stellar Shift, Storm Cloud Vapor. Okay.
Yeah. So, but they look cool. Those ones look cool. Anyway, yeah, an edible one. I was interested in that. Like, gummy? Is it gummy?
Yeah,
Is it taffy? Is it
Hard candy.
Jolly Rancher?
Yeah,
Like,
you
what are we
hold
talking
it for
about
too
here?
long and it just
Yeah,
sticks.
and it just melt. They're like, please keep refrigerated.
Please use our fridge to keep it cold.
Do not eat joysticks.
Wait, do not leave that fridge plugged in.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was my amazing story for not as good as last week's, I'm afraid. The Game Pass story was much more exciting, but still an amazing story.
Interesting either way. All right. That is the end. We have made it. But before we go, big shout out to our awesome Patreon backers, patreon.com/helpdeskarcade. If you donate $6 a month or more, you get a shout out on the air. And Jaron has those for us right now.
Yes, allow me to illustrate my gratitude to David
Doing
Broshinsky,
this again, huh?
Connor Keesaw, and Wiffle Ball Tony. And I'm here to promulgate my appreciation for Charlotte Holmes. It's the in-between. Andy Bird, Be the 8-Year-Old, Travis Johnson by Geekshow Arcade helped us stickers at Pieman Graphics on Etsy. All proceeds go to Lee George Cade's medical bills. I want to demonstrate my thanks to Jeremy, No Name No Color, Keslo, Eric Steinman, Eric Cruz, Owen has tech cred, Matt Nelson, Harry Patch.
Eight. Go back.
I think
just
you
one
forgot.
more.
You forgot
Harry
his-
Patch?
You know,
No,
you-
you
one
forgot
more.
Owen's
Before.
plus. He had some bonuses, I think,
Harry Patch.
before that one.
Adam, Aaron Faulkner,
he's
Stuart
gonna deny
Lloyd,
it.
+5. History is for you to learn from or repeat. Your choice. Ryan M. and Adam Hecht. Thank you, everyone.
Indeed.
All right. Thank you so much. There we go. We will see you next week. Thanks for downloading us. Thanks for making it to the end of this here podcast or YouTube video, however you consumed it. And until then, Owen, take us out.
Hey, we hope you care.